Unbounded Mind. Unlocking Your True Potential. Introduction. The mind is a vast, ever-expanding universe, capable of extraordinary feats when nurtured and trained. Yet, many of us remain bound by invisible barriers limiting beliefs, outdated habits, and fears that prevent us from reaching our full potential. But what if those barriers were illusions? What if we had the ability to shatter them and unlock our true capabilities? This journey is about discovering the hidden power of the brain. It is a story of transformation of an individual who defies expectations, reprograms their mind, and uncovers the limitless potential that exists within all of us. Through discipline, strategy, and an unyielding belief in growth, anyone can break free from the constraints of the past and shape an extraordinary future. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Limits. From the moment we are born, society molds us with labels and expectations. You're not good at math. Some people are just naturally talented. Only the lucky ones succeed. These words, repeated over time, settle into our subconscious as undeniable truths. But what if they were nothing more than stories we've been told? He had spent years believing in those narratives, believing that intelligence was fixed and success was predetermined. But a pivotal moment changed everything. A mentor, someone who had defied conventional wisdom, asked a simple but profound question. What if your limits are not real? For the first time, he entertained the possibility that he had been operating within imaginary walls. Inspired and eager to explore, he set out on a journey to dismantle the mental constraints that had held him back for so long. And with each step forward, he began to realize, limits are illusions, waiting to be broken. Chapter 2. Rewiring the Brain. The human brain is not a static organ. It is a masterpiece of adaptation and change. Science calls this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on experiences, habits, and conscious effort. Once he understood this, everything shifted. He started training his mind like a muscle. He immersed himself in learning techniques, memory palaces, visualization, speed reading. He embraced mindfulness and meditation to sharpen his focus. He restructured his daily routine to optimize learning and eliminate distractions. Each day, his brain adapted, grew stronger, and processed information more efficiently. What once seemed impossible now felt within reach. The more he trained, the more he realized that intelligence wasn't about innate talent. It was about effort, practice, and the willingness to change. And with that realization, he took control of his own cognitive evolution. Chapter 3. The Power of Learning. How to learn. Traditional education had taught him what to learn, but never how to learn. The missing piece was not knowledge itself, but the strategies to absorb and apply it effectively. He set out to master the art of learning. He discovered active recall, forcing the brain to retrieve information rather than passively reviewing it. He experimented with spaced repetition, a technique that strengthens memory retention by strategically spacing out review sessions. He learned the power of association, connecting new knowledge to existing memories, making learning effortless. Through trial and adaptation, he transformed the way he approached knowledge. Learning was no longer a chore. It became a skill, an adventure. The faster he learned, the more his confidence grew. And with each breakthrough, he moved closer to mastering the limitless potential of his mind. Chapter 4. Breaking Free from Mental Chains. Despite his progress, one final obstacle remained: the deep-seated fear of failure. Like many, he had been conditioned to equate failure with inadequacy. But what if failure was not an endpoint, but a crucial step toward growth? He studied the world's greatest innovators, visionaries who had failed repeatedly but persisted regardless. He rewired his mindset, embracing failure as a teacher, not an enemy. With each setback, he analyzed, adapted, and improved. Slowly, fear lost its grip on him. By redefining failure, he found freedom. No longer constrained by the fear of making mistakes, he took bolder risks, experimented with ideas, and ventured into new intellectual territories. And with that courage, he unlocked the final piece of the puzzle, the ability to push beyond perceived limitations and step into the infinite potential of his own mind. Chapter 5. Mastering Focus and Productivity. The modern world is designed for distraction. Notifications, endless scrolling, and external demands pull attention in every direction. To truly unlock the mind's potential, he needed to master focus. He adopted the Pomodoro technique, breaking work into focused intervals followed by short breaks. He eliminated distractions, creating a workspace that fostered deep concentration. He learned to protect his cognitive energy, prioritizing important tasks and rejecting mental clutter. By mastering focus, he reclaimed control over his time and productivity. He no longer felt overwhelmed, but instead harnessed his attention as a powerful tool to propel him toward his goals. Chapter 6. The Power of a Growth Mindset. A fixed mindset traps individuals in limitations, convincing them that abilities are static. A growth mindset, on the other hand, thrives on challenges, seeing failures as opportunities to learn. He embraced this philosophy, training himself to see struggles as stepping stones. Instead of fearing obstacles, he welcomed them, knowing they were signs of progress. He surrounded himself with people who challenged him, continuously pushing his mental boundaries. With a growth mindset, he was no longer bound by self-imposed ceilings. Every challenge became an invitation to expand, evolve, and unlock new levels of his potential. Chapter 7. Unleashing the Limitless Mind. Through his journey, he had shattered mental barriers, rewired his thinking, and mastered the art of learning. But the most profound realization was this: the pursuit of growth never ends. The mind is an ever-expanding entity. The more he learned, the more he realized how much more there was to explore. He committed to lifelong learning, knowing that true mastery comes not from reaching an endpoint, but from continuous expansion. He had become limitless, not because he had all the answers, but because he had embraced the journey of never-ending discovery.